Welcome back to the Weightlifting House news show. While I tell you what's going to be in this episode, please enjoy this video of Li Fabin performing some freestand handstand press-ups. In this week's episode, we take a look at Karlos Nasar's crazy diet and some problems with his federation. Kianoush Rostami returns, but competing for who? And China's new super heavy is about to take center stage. Also, this week's episode is sponsored by our new 1.5mm Chinese-style weightlifting knee sleeves. These bad boys are made for warmth and support without getting rid of any of your mobility. If you're somebody who just wants to increase their squat, these are not for you. You can check out our 7mm knee sleeves, our heavy-duty ones for those. If you're somebody who just wants to feel warmer in your legs, you want to maintain your mobility with some added support, kind of like the Chinese athletes do, then these are definitely for you. You can get them now at weightliftinghouse.com. They're also available in our buy any two, get one free mix and match, so go have fun over at weightliftinghouse.com. I'll put a link for all of that down below. Okay, so let's kick things off with the Olympic champion, the probably most recognizable weightlifter currently in the sport. It's Karlos Nasar talking through his current diet.
Сутрин се яде кюфтета с рибатон. Ям 10 яйца.
Само на закуска.
Това е само на закуска.
It's worth saying that we recently spoke to Karlos and he mentioned that he was thinking about going up to the 96 kilo category for Bahrain. This could be a bulking meal, but I mean, if you think about it, he's having meatballs with tuna, which, I mean, let's be real, that's pretty rank as a combo, but he's having that plus 10 eggs. He's easily at 150 grams of protein for breakfast. And then he's having all of that again for lunch and dinner.
После на обяд, примерно, се яде една зелена салата, примерно с 2 яйца вътре варени, сьомга, след това някакъв въглехидрат, то ще са или спагети с кайма вътре, или ориз, след това пак кюфтетата с рибатон яма. Не, аз не се шегувам, това верно се изяжда. Телешки кюфтета задължително има и на обяд и вечер, а пък вечерята ми е същата като обяда.
Брат, разревах се от смях.
He is so far above what he needs for his protein consumption for the day. His calories are pretty high as well. There's a lot more on Karlos that we have to talk about in this episode. I'll save that for the end because it's time to talk about the return of King Kianoush Rostami. Now, a lot of you who are new in the sport may not remember just the glory days of King Kianoush. I mean, he was competing back at the World Championships in 2013, 2011, I even think he might have been there in Paris. As an 85 kilo weightlifter, he's one of the best of all time. He held the world record at one point at 220 kilos in the clean and jerk at 85. If you think about Karlos, 224.89, it's not as good as Kianoush 220 at 85. Kianoush was amazing. He's an Olympic champion. He made a few kind of returns, but he's trying to return once again. But this time, he wants to be competing at the World Championships for Kosovo. Now, he does actually hold a passport there, which is interesting. For those who don't know, it's a European country nestled in between Slovenia, Serbia, Bulgaria, close to Greece. I think that's right. Hopefully we have a map. Did I get it right? I hope so. He's still waiting to be officially released by the Iranian Federation. Apparently he's done all of the paperwork. So as far as Kosovo is concerned, they want him and he wants to be there. Whether it gets done in time, there's no, according to Brian Oliver, who obviously is the main journalist in weightlifting, there's no diplomatic relationship between Iran and Kosovo, so things are slow in communication. But so we might see him at the World Champs for that. If not, we're going to see Kianoush at a European Championships. How crazy is that? Let's talk next about this new Chinese super heavyweight, Li Yan. Some of you may know her. I'm going to say that probably 99% of you don't. She competed recently, and she's going to be competing at the World Championships for China in the plus 87 kilo category. Li Wenwen will not be lifting. She will be. She just hit a 140 kilo snatch. Now, if we think about the state of women's weightlifting in that plus 87 kilo category right now, you've basically got 5 of the top 6 in the world snatch between 120 and 130. And then there's a 15, 16 kilo gap. And then you have Li Wenwen. Nobody has gotten over that 130 barrier. Park Hye-jeong got pretty close for South Korea. She hit 130, but she's not surpassed it. So to be having, just pulling out of the woodworks, this young, I think she's 20 years old, this new Chinese super who is just suddenly at 140. I mean, what's going to happen? Like, is she going to challenge Li Wenwen for the next Olympics? Because Li Wenwen could become very reasonably the first female weightlifter ever to win 3 Olympic gold medals. We could see quite a good battle between them. I mean, there are not many women ever who've done it. Obviously, Tatiana did it, Meng Su Ping did it, and then Li Wenwen. But now just to chuck in Li Yan is just, I don't know, it's crazy. So that's going to be an exciting competition at Worlds. Let's stick with China, go from Maximus to minimus, there's a 49 kilo lifter who was posted, Zhang Rong. This is actually an old lift, this is 2017, but I hadn't seen it before. It's a 94 kilo snatch save. And that 94 kilos equals the Olympic record snatch in that category, held by Hu Jihui. But anyway, I just thought that was really good. I guess she never got huge because I haven't seen her competing at a big international, but Zhang Rong, pretty solid lift there. But then in the same category, an athlete who has competed multiple times, in fact, she's a 4-time world champion, Zhang Huihua, they posted a video of her snatching 99 kilos. Now the world record is 97 kilos, Hu Jihui, but Zhang Huihua hit that 99, and her physio/PT commented, best athlete in this category ever. Now, it's an interesting statement because, you know, Zhang Huihua is a 4-time world champion. She won almost every single session during this last qualifying period. But her teammate, Hu Jihui, is a 2-time Olympic champion. So at the last minute, every time, when Zhang Huihua is about to go to the Olympic Games, Hu Jihui comes in and beats her and hits a slightly bigger total or something like that, but will perform worse routinely all the way up until that final moment, and then go and snatch that gold medal. So I don't know, if I was Zhang Huihua, I'd be fuming with the performances of Hu Jihui over the last 8 years, sneaking these big clutch performances to get the gold medals. But, you know, that's sport, isn't it? That's sport. But the 99 kilo snatch, unbelievable. Let's move over now to the 73 kilo category because we've got a few big lifters here. The first one is Caden Cahoy. He's actually competing right now at the Junior World Championships, which are exclusive to Weightlifting House TV if you want to check that out. But he posted a video, 145, 187 in training. Now these are big lifts. If he puts that together in a competition platform, and we were looking at 332, I think that would have got him into the top 10 and got him into the Olympic Games had he done that at the last chance qualifier in Thailand. 145, 187, huge numbers. He's looking really strong. Also, I saw somebody's comment in the last one about how I love saying last chance qualifier, and that made me and some of the people I work with laugh. I do like saying it. It was such a good competition. It was such good branding. Well, it wasn't officially called the last chance qualifier. That's just what I started calling it. But it's better than World Cup. There's an Egyptian 73, 15 years old, who just hit an unofficial youth world record, 175 kilos. 15. Abdul Rahman, not to be confused with Abdul Rahman, aka Hulk weightlifter from Egypt, the super heavy. This is much smaller, 15-year-old 73, but 175 is huge. And then stick with 73s, just the final one. We have Brian Ibanez. Last week we talked about his sister Emily, the 13-year-old who's just incredibly strong. So Brian is also a very talented young junior weightlifter. He just posted a video, a 200 kilo behind the neck jerk double. I think he's a 73. I don't think he's an 81. I suppose he could be an 81. Maybe that makes more sense. What is it? Brian, what are you? His Instagram doesn't technically say. Someone's going to comment below and you're going to be able to find out what it was. So, but 200 kilo behind the neck power jerk double. I know it's slightly wide, but it's still a power jerk. It's definitely not snatch grip or anything. So unbelievable stuff there. Moving over now to Iran. Do you guys remember Ali Reza Yousefi? He competed at the 2021 World Championships and he hit that massive clean and jerk, which I think was a junior world record at the time. Okay, it was 238. Then he did the 245 and I think they didn't count it. I think that's right. So maybe it didn't count as a world record, but it was absolutely incredible. He has not been picked a lot recently because Iran, just as always, they have this ridiculous lineup of so many super heavyweights. Arish Shafiqi, who is the taller guy who competed in 2021. Then obviously Ali Davoudi, before that, Bahadur Moulay, Salimi, Ali Hosseini, Razazadeh, there's a lot of them. 240 kilo clean, he just hit off blocks for a double. Look at the speed of this guy. I mean, I know he doesn't stand up the first one, but you can tell that it's not because it's going to be hard, he just doesn't need to. I actually met him when he was in 2021 Worlds. He was really nice, like very friendly, very sweet. He's young. He was 19 back then when I met him, so he's only about 22 now. You wouldn't believe it. This guy looks like he's been competing for 20-30 years, but 240 clean double off blocks, that's something you really don't see from any supers anymore. So pretty incredible there. Over to France now, making his news show debut, we have Benjamin Ferret, 96. I think he has competed at 102, but he doesn't look like a full 102. He's actually only been training for 4 years. He just hit a 208 kilo clean and jerk. Now, obviously, he might be a full-on 102, in which case it's still a very impressive lift, especially for a French weightlifter. If he is a lighter 102, it's amazing. But 4 years, yeah, I've heard a lot about him for a while, because one of our incredible editors that we have at weightliftinghouse.com is, lived in France for quite a long time and trained at the gym where this guy trains. So he knows him, and he's kind of been telling me for a while, watch out, like Benjamin's coming. He's an amazing French weightlifter. He'll be huge soon. And so, yeah, this 208 is certainly deserving of being on the news show. Let's go back to Iran, actually. I missed this lift. Mostafa Javadi, aka the slowest pull in weightlifting, aka the man who will go under literally anything to win a medal. The reigning world champion, Mostafa Javadi, just hit a 150 kilo snatch plus hang snatch. Nate, maybe you can show the Mostafa Javadi, I think it's 215 from the 2023 World Champs. It was the gold medal winning lift. He hit the backflip afterwards. It is the slowest pull ever. If you watch the Olympics, you saw him do it again with something crazy. He will go under the last lift of every session if he has to. He'll pull it, and he'll go under. He might not get up with it, but he's a crazy guy. Next up, we have Uncle Ruslan Nuradinov from Uzbekistan. Third week on the trot that I've mentioned him, but I have to because he finally competed after all of this really impressive training. We got to see him lift, and I have to say I was stunned by his performance. A 191 snatch and a 230 kilo clean and jerk. These are big lifts for a 109. I mean, this is really impressive stuff. Also, I started calling him Uncle Ruslan because he'd been competing for so long. I mean, I remember him in, well, I don't remember this, but he was competing in the 2009 World Championships. He's a 2013 World Champion. So this guy's been around for a long time. I looked it up, he's only 32. He's not even that much older than me. He's still an uncle to me, but 191, 230. At the World Championships coming up, the 109s is going to become a new really exciting category. Obviously, people can move around, but 109s for a while has not been great because all the top talent dropped down to 102. But this time, currently, we have Ruslan, we have Yevgeny Tsikantsev, who medaled at the Olympics at 102. We've got Garrett Karapetyan, who's obviously amazing at 102, going up to 109 apparently. We have the return of Artyom Antropov, you guys remember, one of the strongest cleaners and squatters in the world. We're going to have Dadash Bailey again, and there's more. So that 109 category is actually getting very, very exciting. Let's cover now this, we'll go back to Karlos Nasar because there are some interesting things here. So Karlos Nasar is currently in a really sticky situation with the Bulgarian Federation. And there was an article that was posted about it. I thought we should go through that. I've actually written up basically all of the most important points. So forgive me for sort of semi-reading off this script here because I want to make sure that I cover everything. The short and sticky of it is that he's not been paid for like 8 months by the Federation. And we know that the Federation has been having some problems for a while, but let's go through it. I'll break it into 4 kind of sections and I'll go through some of the interesting quotes as well at the end. So we'll start off with Karlos's concern. Karlos Nasar has called for the Bulgarian Federation President Anton Kajabashev to resign, expressing worry that the Federation's debts might block his participation at the 2023 World Championships. So there's been a load of financial management and mismanagement, and essentially Karlos is concerned that he's not going to continue to get paid. The Federation is going to go under, and also he's not necessarily willing to sign a contract with them because of their financial mismanagements, which are as follows. Karlos has criticized the Federation's leadership, revealing that athletes and coaches haven't been paid for 8 months. Kashabashev blamed the debt on his predecessor's extravagant spending, which includes money on cigars, nightclubs, basically everything that had nothing to do with weightlifting. And that left the Bulgarian Weightlifting Federation account empty. Apparently, they are facing nearly 1 million BGM, so Bulgarian lev, in debt, which is approximately, it's like 540,000 US dollars. That's about 420,000 pounds. And that's largely, as I mentioned, due to the spending of the previous president, Arif Madzit, I don't know if that's true, on items related to the Federation's obligations, cigars and nightclubs. So that's what the current president is saying the last president did. Karlos seems to think it's maybe a little bit more the current and the last maybe, I'm not sure, but certainly there's a lot of really bad management in the money. To make things worse, and this is absolutely ridiculous, Karlos has basically accused the Bulgarian Federation of demanding 30% of his sponsorship money. So obviously now that Karlos is a bit of a superstar and he's making money off different brands, the Bulgarian Federation is saying like, hey, you know, you're one of ours, you exist because of us. All the money that you get, just take 30% off, send it to us, and we think that's fair. And they want Karlos to sign a contract to be one of their athletes, but it includes that. Obviously, Karlos isn't going to do that. He says that this is happening. Koshabashev, the federation president, has called this a lie and has actually challenged Karlos Nasar to a polygraph test, so like a lie detector test. Karlos has actually accepted that test. I think he said something like he's too busy right now, but if he has to, he's happy to sit down anywhere and take a lie detector test to prove that the Bulgarian Federation is trying to just rinse him of all of his money. So some future things then. Karlos said that he remains totally focused on competing for Bulgaria. He has ambitions for multiple Olympic titles. He was talking about trying to win 2, 3 or even 4 Olympic golds, and he's preparing for this IWF World Championships in Bahrain, hopefully in this new heavier 96 kilo weight class, which is interesting. What can he hit there? The world records, if he wants them, he'd have to hit 188, 232 to beat Lesman and Sarab, which incidentally would mean that he would have set senior world records in 3 weight categories. Has anyone else ever done that? Not including when weight categories change. That's not fair. Like when Lou did 77-81, obviously that's amazing, but I'm talking about like 3 actual weight categories, 81, 89, 96. That would be crazy if you could do it. So some interesting quotes from Karlos in this interview that he had. I just want a man with vision to come into our federation and do his job. Despite my busy schedule, I will go through with the polygraph test. Our federation cannot sign new contracts soon. This is another reason for Koshabashev's resignation. Desire for a resignation, at least. It's interesting. I mean, Karlos does say that he has no intention of leaving and competing for another country. But my thoughts would be, if you're an athlete and you've done all of these amazing things and then you're not being paid for them, and the federation that is supposed to be looking for you and supporting for you is not paying for you and is even demanding more of your hard-earned money, and then other countries come and they start saying things like, we can give you a decent salary, we'll give you greater bonuses for gold medals. I think it's very reasonable if he starts looking around and shopping around for other countries. So he says he'll stick with Bulgaria. We'll see. I'm actually flying out to Bulgaria with my boy, editor of this episode, Nate Chawinski, who some of you will know from his great YouTube channel. And we're flying out to hang out with Karlos at some point. So we might even find out a little bit more of this. So stay tuned for some interesting Bulgaria content over the next few months. I think I'm going to wrap things up there. Don't forget, this episode was sponsored by the new Chinese-style weightlifting house knee sleeves. Just so you know, with these knee sleeves, what we don't do is take an existing pair of knee sleeves that the Chinese team uses and just remake them. We actually design these things from scratch. It takes a long time to do. We have new materials, different blends than the exact Chinese style to what we think is nicer. We've tried them out on a bunch of athletes for quite a while now, and the design is obviously very nice. So we think they're great. You can get them in the buy any 2 get the 3rd item free sort of bundle that we do at Weightlifting House, which is quite fun. You can just go and start selecting different things, grab a belt, sleeves, get a free pair of wraps or something like that. So yeah, you can check that out, the link below. If you like this episode, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.